Welcome to Factorio 1.0. Let's start automating. My name is Nilaus, and this is the second episode of our new Let's Play. And I've been spending a lot of time reading the comment section based on the input from yesterday. And I really appreciate all the input. Something that I think is sort of the recurring theme is that I might have been going a bit too fast. So I'm going to try to fix that. I've taken a number of notes on some specific things. I'm not going to go through everything because maybe that wasn't sort of clear. I intend for this series to be primarily focused on people who are actually playing the game. And as such, when you're playing the game, you will have some flair for it yourself. You'll be clicking around and finding out different options yourself. And once you do that, whether you press M to show the map view, but also just exploring the game yourself. So if you are completely new and have never opened the game and have just downloaded it, I would encourage you to dive in, make mistakes. And when you get confused, stuck, or frustrated, well, that's where this series is going to help you out, because I'm going to try to explain what we do, why we do, how we do it, and without sort of going too many or into too many other things, right? Or without meetings. I don't know. I'm going to try at least. So we're going to start with one thing that I think is really important. That's that at the beginning of each episode, I want to state what the target and goal of this episode is, so that we get more of an understanding of what it is we want to achieve, so you understand why we're doing the various things we're doing. So for this specific one, we are going to, well, scale up, because that's the name of the game in terms of Factorio. It's always about scaling up. No matter how much you build, the answer will always be you need more. And we're just going around here as you will be doing a lot in the early game, just picking up iron, copper, stone bricks. We're going to head down here to grab some more stone bricks. And please don't run out of power. It's almost running out, but not quite. And we are going to make a lot more furnaces. So I'm just going to start making all furnaces so we can get that going. Let's just check on here. We have 374 wooden chests. Now, research. We're just going to let research pause for just a moment. So let me just also explain why I did this particular thing and what it is. Green circuits and gears are some of the things that are being used the most in the beginning. And well, we don't actually have a lot of things that require it, but things such as inserters when we get that, electric miners when we get that, those will, like electric miners here, gears and circuits. So instead of me handcrafting everything, if we can just pick some of these up and pick some of these up, it's going to be a lot nicer. So let's keep this one going. Also, belts are a bit tedious to craft. So here I'm going to put 1, 2, and 1. So this one will just keep going, make more green circuits, and it'll just make all of our construction easier. So at this point, we have a tiny bit of power built. I could take a look at the power grid here. This is super confusing. You can set up on the intervals. Let's just put it on 1 minute, and it's less erratic. You can see the power consumers on this side and the power producers on this side. And basically the satisfaction, as long as this bar is full, that means you can meet all the demands of the power in the base. Right now it's fluctuating with like 300, 400, 500 kilowatt. And the production here, this indicates how much of the total production, if things are maxed out, if these 4 are working at full capacity, then we'll have 3.8, and that's going to be maxing out. Accumulator charge is something that comes later when we build accumulators, because you kind of build up batteries with power. So basically at this point, as long as this is green, that's fine. And you can see on any entity over on the right hand side, it has electricity. And when they're idle, they use a lot less, but when they're working, they use more. So now we got everything working here. Let's just get a few more ammunition. We don't really need that much, but we'll get it. Okay, so what we want to do today is trying to scale up. And the way we want to scale up is building a lot of inserters. And this is where we need iron gears, and electronic circuits. So this is why we actually want all the electronic circuits. You know, I think I might want more of these. So let's build more of these. And I'm going to clean up my inventory up here, because we're done building actually some of the starter things. I'm going to put belts, underground belts, and splitters. Those are the main ones I'm going to use. and that's just always the way I structure my initial base here. Now let's start building something. Let's see, that one is okay. We are also going to get some more electric miners, because what we need to do now is we'd like to get away from this part that I have to constantly refuel myself into something where we automate things. The series is after all called Let's Automate. Let's start automating, so we definitely need to start automating things there. Right now what we have to do is pick up manually from our coal burner miners and put them into, run all the way back and put them into our iron miners. We want to make that automated. We do that by making it something that uses power instead, using electricity instead of using coal. Burner miners use coal to work, or wood for that matter, but we want to start using electricity, and then we use the coal to produce the electricity. So again here I'm going to go hold down Control right click and drag over all of them. That means I'm going to take half stack into each, so that puts 25 into each one of these. That one is done. You can see here if you hover over, then it will say expected resources 111. If this says 0, then it's not going to mine anymore. See this one, boom, just now it got stuck. It doesn't visually indicate anything, but it doesn't have any expected resources. Therefore, it's done. And those can then be moved other places, because we're not quite done yet. Yeah, and want this one. And let's get the last one there. Pick up everything. And here we have our power line coming in. What else are we missing? We don't have this because we don't have any green circuits. Okay. Copper. Let's go grab some more copper. Oh, look at this. The bottom one here is actually run out. I think I want to make... No, I don't want to make any more of these. This should be enough. There. Lots and lots of iron. And what should we do? I'm going to continue to build more of these, and you can see here now we are starting to build or handcraft the electronic circuits. That's what I'd really like to avoid, because it's kind of tedious. There, putting more in. Keep feeding this one so it's always working. Let's look at science again. We want to start making smelting columns. That's what we want to do, because smelting columns is what really feeds our future base. And that's going to be one of those principles in Factorio where you're always going to need more than you think you're going to need. It's kind of, it seems silly to say that, but you always need more. Just more. Let's build a few of these things, and let's see. I think I'll start research again. Turrets would be nice if biters will come in, so the not so friendly neighbors on the planet, they don't like us polluting. When we get to that part, I'll explain it, but there's no point in explaining it for now. We have a radar. This is the part that covers this area and also discovers out here as well. Now, the next thing we want to do is build like the start of our smelting column. So I want to show you a pretty cool way of doing this. And just get some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 maybe? I don't know. I can use Control C, that's a copy function, just to get an indication of this. This is something you can only use when you have blueprints unlocked. Right now I'm just doing it so we can count how many we have. Now, the ideal case would be if I had a belt out here and I could take from this belt into these. Oh, hold on, that's not correct. I think I'd rather do this. Make it slightly more efficient. That one and that one. So let's try and connect this to our line here, so we get our inserters will start working, and they are now working. So what if on the one side of the belt has two sides? What if on the one side of the belt we had let's just try and grab it something so we can kind of get a feeling for what it is. Not really sure that's great. And that's turrets finished. I don't really, well, let's go military as well. They're pretty cheap, so we can take a couple of these. Yeah, you know what? That's not a good idea. Not a good idea. I want to illustrate something, but it doesn't quite. It's going to be more tedious to show if. So, what if I put iron, copper in here, and iron on this side, and I'm going to put them in. You can see here they put in on either side of the belt. So inserters will always, and this is kind of unintuitive until you get used to it, they will always put on the side that's furthest away on the belt. That's just the way it works. So you can have two different things, one on either side, and that's the intention, is that on the outside we want iron, and on the inside we want coal, so that the same inserter can do both of them. And then on the other hand, we can now take them out of this location and maybe put them on a belt, and that'll make us just a bit more happy. There. So you can see they will be put out here. So that's a good idea for now. Let's see. In order for us to do that, we need some miners, so we can start mining some copper here, or some iron here. Iron is currently mined directly into the furnace, and from there it's being consumed, but we can do better than that. We can just put it on a belt, and I think I need more belts as well. So I'm going to put it here. So you can see the green area, that's the part where it's actually mining from. So I'm going to put it here and on the other side, and then I can drag a belt in between. So these will now input on the close side of the belt. Not the further side like inserters, but the close side. Those are some of the things that I never really think about, but I kind of have to think about it now that I have to explain it to someone who might not have seen this before. So what I'm doing now is just making one big happy line of belts. Okay, that's actually not great. And I don't have any wood, so we need to chop down some wood in order to get some more wood for our wooden power poles. And in the meantime, we just put in some coal here. That was military. I don't think I want to go further on science right now. Military gives us one thing that is improvement. Right now we have a pistol that we're used to shoot with, and that's not really very persuasive towards enemies coming in. So let's instead build an SMG. Go over in the combat tab and build an SMG instead. Submachine gun. We can build one of those. I'll take this, and I'm going to just build all the stone furnaces we can, because we're going to need a lot of stone furnaces. And all of the... There. I'm actually going to take this out. It annoys me that they're not next to each other. I know it's kind of irrelevant things, but I like these kind of things, right? So, miners. If you want to have a belt, like a yellow belt here, completely full, taking 15 items per second, then you need 30 miners. But I don't actually need that right now. Don't feel that's super important. So we can take this belt, and we could also take it up there though. Here. And what if we build it? What if we did this? So that now, here, this one goes in on one side, and then the other side, put this, put the coal in. Then you can see we're now getting iron coming in on both sides of the belt, and then it'll merge into only fill up one side of the belt. And then we have the coal coming in on the other side, and that'll give us lots of smelting here. Lots of iron. The thing is with these furnaces is that if they can't output, such as this one soon can't output, there. Then it'll start building up iron plates on an internal buffer, and this will go reach up to 100. So you really don't need to build a lot of boxes here, because once you just let them run, they'll still fill up at 100 in each one. So you can do hold control and left click all the way down and just pick up whatever is left here. And that's a super efficient way of getting more stuff. Let's build some more miners because we need it. I'm going to take, yeah, this one needs some copper. And I'm going to take that one as well. That's a lot of electronic circuits we have now. And this one is working, this one's working, looking good. Now, what if we want to build more up here so we can get the coal in as well? This one is empty, that's why this one stops working. So I'm going to put it here and here. Hopefully it didn't. And I'm going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. I'm just going to make 4 here. There are some people who like to have to build them further apart, the miners, because you can see this one is now overlapping. So you could technically go like this, takes these 5 tiles, and this one takes this 5 tiles, right? So they don't overlap. And all you do is just take longer to mine out, and you want to mine out as fast as possible because you want to have the option of mining out as fast as possible. This is again just something with symmetry, and I want to do that. So if you remember, these don't only work and therefore also only require power when they're actually doing something. So let's drag our power poles back to the rest of the line here. So if you have 20 and they're idle, it doesn't really use more power than if you have 10 and they're idle. Oh, wow, that's way too far. Now we do have to be mindful of our power consumption because electric miners do tend to use a lot more power. You can see here, we are now going up 16 of these. It's using 1.4 megawatts, and we only have a total of 3.8. And it gets worse than that because we don't even have any correct input. We only have like a handcrafted input. We also need to get this one in automatically so we can do this more efficiently. And what I want to do is I want to make more smelters. If we double up the smelters, it doesn't use anymore, but it will. Okay, we need more iron. Let's go grab some iron. We still have that. And then I feel that it's probably a good idea to be in front of the curve when it comes to power. You don't really ever want to run out of power. And these have filled up, so good time to do this. I'm gonna make 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, because remember the ratio was 1 boiler to 2 steam engines. And the water pipe here can feed, this one can produce 1200 or 1200 per second. This one can consume 60 per second, so each one of these pumps can feed 20. So we don't have to worry right now about actually running out of this. And we're just now doubling our power soon. It does not consume more power. Oops, there. It just now is enabling it, and we can look here, we now have 7.7, which is double of the 3.8 we had before. So what we're seeing, I'm just going to move the table just a bit down, sorry for that little noise. And that means that we are a bit safer when it comes to power. Not super safe yet. We are first going to take our coal, sorry, that we just managed to power up here. All our coal miners, they're coming out on a belt. This belt should be doing 2 things. It should go both into our new iron smelting lane, and it should go into our steam engines. So let's see if we can do that. I'm gonna just take it, I think we'll just take it down here. And keep in mind. And let's see, I want to get it. This is just a way for me to give some kind of indication, and it's not gonna, yeah, it can go through. Jump over, or under, technically. So what we're seeing, and I'm actually going to continue this one down here because this is the most important. We don't want to run out of power. If you run out of power, your base stops working. So prioritize getting coal to your power, automate it first, and we have that now. Already now I feel a lot more comfortable. I am just going to increase our power even more. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm exclusively doing this so that we don't have to come back to this as often. It's not because we need it, it's simply because then I don't have to worry about it for a bit longer time, maybe a couple of episodes more, instead of just having to come back next episode. As soon as we build something, we have to build more power. And this is just, yeah, this is easier. So this is our power. Let's mark it on the map. This is, if you look at the map, you can't really remember what's what. So you can right click and you can give an indicator. I wonder if the new train is there. New do that for, no, unfortunately not. That's too bad. But this one will be marked as a steam engine, so we can see on the map that it's where we produce our power. And you can see the belt here is now filling up. This one is going to be kind of more of an extra buffer. What I can do is kind of do something like this. What this does means it just takes something out here and puts it in a buffer. Really, right now, all it does is a whole lot of nothing. But when this one fills up, it'll just start putting it into the box, but be unable to put it out. And then we'll have a bit more storage into the box. It's pretty simple. Actually, it's not a great idea to build it here. I'd rather have it somewhere else. So let's ignore that for now. We have a long belt, and that belt in itself serves as a buffer. So if something runs out, we still have all the work on all the stuff on the buffer here. Let's bring this in, see if we can use this as well. So this one, I can bring it up to that location. So now I'll have coal coming in on one side and iron coming in on the other side. I can also just grab all this. Look at the beautiful iron we now have. That's a lot of iron we got. Now, wouldn't it be cool, since this one is only inputting or outputting on the right hand side, wouldn't it be interesting if we could do the same thing over here as well? Because then I could, yeah, here, that would have to be this, and then I would be able to fill up both sides of the belt. And that would be pretty neat. So in order for us to do that, we have several different ways, and I'm going to show you one way that I prefer doing it, and then you can kind of see the point of it. I'm going to get this on the inside. I'm just going to build it, and then I'm going to explain it. So this little trick here will actually allow us to get really efficient. So it goes in here, and I'm just going to go with pressing F to pick up the bus, pick up from the belt here. It's important. There we go. All right. Another super important thing. I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning, or maybe I did mention it, and in that case, I'm just going to mention it again, is that right now there is on my YouTube channel a video called Tips and Tricks for New Players. This will go through a lot of the shortcuts I'm using here, so that it'll be much easier for you to understand what's going on, what are the shortcuts that I'm using, and it's specifically designed to sort of give a more comprehensive introduction to it. But what we're seeing now is, you can see we're not really getting a lot of coal inbound, but it'll be fine. It doesn't need much coal, this part. By doing this splitter on the outside, we have the iron going both sides, and the coal here also going both sides, but they go on the inside and the outside respectively. The way that this one is done is that so that I can do exactly the same pattern over here. I can go that one. I'm not going to build the whole thing, but there. and I could do that one. Okay, now I guess I am building it, because we can do this both for iron and for copper, and that's a really good idea to do for both iron and copper, because this will be our new way of smelting, and it'll just vastly improve because now we have automated the smelting, and it now comes out nice and crisp on a belt. We're going to need a lot more inserters. You can see I only have 7 inserters, and that's not going to last very long. I'm just going to stop creating this. Okay. And this one could be copper. I think that would make a lot of sense to make this into copper. There. So, in order for us to make it into copper, we do have 6 of these. That's pretty good. I'm just going to pick these up. I'm going to make this over by the edge. Here. And let's see, where do we want to go? We want to go into something like this. I don't like building it too close, so we'll give a bit more room. And that's a belt coming in, and all we need now is some power to feed into this part so it starts working. Where do we have the power? We can just drag the power from here and hit the power line by the iron. There. Oof, we're running out of coal here in this one. And let's confirm that the whole thing is working. And that means that when it's working, hopefully, and you can now see how much iron and copper we actually are getting. Now we're getting tons of copper now. So now is really a good time to start filling into our boxes so we can have this built 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 for us, so we don't have to worry about it. And I actually think I want to make a dedicated build here. And that one, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of these. So we can build more in that location. Looking good. Let's look at the copper just to confirm that it is working. Look, we have now built smelting columns. Copper, because we don't need as much copper in the beginning. I don't need to build both sides. We'll do that eventually. But at this point, we got a pretty good copper smelting setup going, and that's copper and iron smelting setup going. And next time we are going to start using this to start producing more of the things we need, like inserters and belts, so that we can produce some of the things we need in order to build a bigger base. And that's kind of the essence of Factorio. You use your materials to build more infrastructure in order to get more materials, in order to build a bigger infrastructure, in order to make it even bigger. And that's always the balance. How much of it do you allocate to increasing the scale of your factory, and how much do you allocate to, for example, science? In this case, we've not allocated anything to science. We've just done a few sciences, but we will continue now that we have some dedicated smelting columns up and running. And that's going to be it for now. I hope that you will be leaving your comments below in the comment section with things that you find that I should go into more detail about, less detail about. If you feel that the pacing is better than the first episode, I really want to try to hit the right balance. I'm not going to go super basic, because I do expect that you are actually owning the game and have it open once in a while in order to see the things we do here. And try it yourself, and do experiment yourself as well. Let me know what you'd like to see more of, less of, different, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Be sure to like the videos if you like it, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this Let's Play, and also Factorio tutorials coming out on at least a weekly basis, probably more right now as Factorio 1.0 just released. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay effective.